Hi, I'm Mark Honeybone from Property Ventures Real Estate, and we're doing the second part today of the Ask Mark questions, monthly questions we're doing, kindly sponsored by Ramada Hotel, Safari Group and of course Property Ventures. So the first question we've got this week is from John from Christchurch. He's asking what things can an investor do before coming to you to make sure the finding buying process goes smoothly. And it's a great question for a newbie investor wanting to know what they need to do. For me, the biggest thing you need to do is know what you're trying to achieve. If you know what you're trying to achieve, someone can help you try to achieve that. And the second thing is, really, before you go to the buying process to put yourself in a better situation, is go to a broker or a bank and make sure you know how much you can borrow, because then you can do cleaner contracts, you can get a better deal, and it's really important when you start off with investing, getting the better deal. So thanks for that question, John. The next one we've got is Anne-Marie from Pukura Bay, I think it is, in Wellington, and she's asking about leveraging equity in your main property to invest, and what's the best way to do this, and is it worthwhile? It's certainly worthwhile leveraging the property in your own home, and that's how most people start investing in property. The biggest thing to do is get some expert advice on this, because when you've got, whether it's $300,000 or $1 million in your property that you own, you don't want to lose it, so you need to make sure that you look after it wisely. So you go to someone who gets some asset management, and they will make sure, put structures in place so you've got some money to go and buy your property that you want to invest in. Then the next really important thing is to go to a mortgage broker, and one that actually operates like it is when you want to protect your assets, because for example, a lot of our clients go to Chris Peterson Mortgages, but what he does is he gets a deposit in one bank and then he gets the mortgage in another bank, and if there's any issue or something ever goes wrong, you should always plan for the worst situation. If something goes wrong, the bank can't virtually take all your money and all your assets, so that's really important. So a great question there, Anne-Marie. The third question this week is from Maureen. Maureen is talking about starting with investing and using an angel investor, and she's saying, my question is, what strategy should I use to work with an angel investor and to get the banks to lend the rest? And she's doing that because the interest rates are low. There's a few things with that. Again, you need to talk to a broker, but before even you need to talk to a broker, your angel investor or JV partner or whatever you want to call them, you need to come up with a strategy. You should always have someone who has a different, offers something that you don't do. One might be equity, one might be cash flow, and it depends on a few, whatever the outcome of that is, of what you're going to do. And what I mean by that is, if someone's got all the cash and you've got the cash flow, it might be good to have it under your name because you can service the debt well. You don't always need both names on the contract. So it's important to decide between you and the angel investor or JV partner what role you're both going to play, and that, along with talking to the mortgage broker, will decide some of that. So good question. As I said, come up with a plan between you and the angel investor and make sure the broker's on board. And again, you have all that done first, and then you can go in and start purchasing property. The fourth question we thought was pretty good this week was from John, and he's wondering, how do I find information on cap rates for commercial property of different classes in New Zealand? Great question, and a commercial could have a commercial question. There's a couple of ways of doing this. You can of course go to your local commercial agency, one who you know is really good at commercial property, and simply ask them, what's the cap rate for a commercial building in this area or suburb. Remembering the lower the rate, the more expensive the building, the higher the rate, the less expensive the building will be. So the other way of doing that is if you actually get out yourself, and what I like doing for commercial building is go to something like Property Guru, or just even Google or Trade Me adverts at the moment for properties that are on the market, commercial properties, and there's a lot of information in those ads, and it basically says what it's worth, what the rates are, what the rental lease is, and then you work out what the cap rate. And if you do that yourself, spend half an hour on it, you'll find out that one suburb to another suburb has a different cap rate. Then you know what the real value is of the property. And that's great if you're getting a property with no tenant in there, so you're buying it cheap. You'll know what the value of it is once you get a tenant in there, because you've done your research on what the rent is. So they are 4 of the best questions we had this week. I'm enjoying this, and I've really thanked the response that we got from people sending the questions in over the last few weeks. We'll be doing this again more regularly from the start of next year, and we welcome all your questions to come in to ask me at propertyventures.co.nz.